What's up, YouTube? I'm back. Today I want to just go over something that happened to me with the exhaust on my new 582. Lesson learned, and I kind of want to go over everything, what happened exactly, so that you guys can learn from this, and so that it won't happen to you. And I'll kind of go through what happened and what I did to fix it. As you can see, I have my brand new warp drive blade in my hand. Maybe 10 hours on this prop, and I had to get a new blade. I'm getting a new blade shipped, but I tried to fix this one, and it actually turned out really well. So I'm hoping I might be able to fly with it until the new blade arrives. But we'll see. I don't know if you can tell, but the prop is no longer on the plane. I'm hoping to put it back on today. But yeah, I'll just go through kind of what happened. So the exhaust clamps on these exhausts, I guess to put it bluntly, I'm not impressed with them. They look beautiful, and in theory, a few changes, maybe some welding up some of the C-clamp or something, it could work better, and I'll get to that. But basically, so this is what happened. I was flying just 2 days ago, did a circuit, and I heard a big crack, scared me quite abruptly. I was right over the airfield, so I just went to idle and landed it. So I got down, couldn't figure out what happened. Like I knew, so I had hit the prop. Something hit the prop. So the top, and I'll insert a picture right here so you can see it. But then basically it only hit one blade and just nicked another blade. So I have a small nick in one of the other blades. But the main blade, obviously, it was shattered at the end, and the nickel leading edge was pushed out on the front and back. So it didn't take me too long to figure out that, yeah, it was the exhaust clamp on this exhaust that had come up off and went through the prop. The stupid thing is that I had fair warning about this for multiple people, so don't over-tighten the exhaust clamps. Don't over-tighten the exhaust clamps. Okay, I won't over-tighten the exhaust clamp. So then what happens is I start flying, come down. So what happens is the exhaust droops, because if you don't tighten up these clamps, like you can only tighten the yoke so much and the clamp so much. And I know there's silicone you're supposed to put in there, but that stuff just melts off anyway. But every time I came back from flight, I would fix the exhaust and then it would droop. And then it would start rubbing right on this clamp, and it's rubbing a hole in the bottom of the exhaust. So it's like, why can't the exhaust stay up? I don't understand. So what I started doing was, every time it happened, I took note of how many threads were showing on the nuts of the clamps, and I would go half a more turn each time until finally I got this exhaust to stop drooping. But I knew it was at the lightest tension that I could put on it, knowing that when the exhaust expands, it can snap these clamps off, which is, I'm assuming, what happened to me. But so I got it to a point where the exhaust stopped drooping. I flew for about 5 hours, and then I went up yesterday, and then yeah, like within a circuit or two, all of a sudden I started hearing a rattle. I'm like, I was listening to it. I was just power on, power off a little bit for listening to the rattle, and then bam, it came off, and I heard a big crack. So came down, found the exhaust clamps off, and much to my dismay, my brand new warp drive has a big dent in the end of the prop. So I'm just gonna show you guys which clamp I'm talking about here. So this is the clamp, for the front clamp. So this C joint is not attached to this clamp. So it has play, right? So that things can expand. But the problem is I don't have any of the joints in here. This is the clamp that came off. Probably the hotter side, kind of makes, but anyway. So this down here is where it keeps drooping. And it doesn't matter what you do, you can get it up. Well, I'm not gonna do it right now, but the point is, you can see underneath there, it's wearing into the bottom of the exhaust. And I kept trying to lift it, and then also you have this deal here too, where you can't go so high that it hits the wing, but I can't even get it within an inch anyway. So, my prop. One other thing to mention is on the bottom of this exhaust, that hole that's getting put in there, I was chatting with some people and they're like, well, yeah, you got to make a couple weld beads there so that there's like a wear point, or even weld on a square piece of steel. It's like what kind of fix is that, you know? It's like, that's not the problem. It's a patch. We got to fix we got to find a better solution to mounting this thing. is my take on it. Just one more comment. I called Greg at Shear Technologies about this. He's the guy I got the clamps from. He was very helpful. He's sending me a new bracket right now. Actually, he's mailing it today, which is awesome. So thank you, Greg, for that. I guess it's a different design. I don't know what it looks like, but I guess we'll see when it gets here, and I'll maybe take a video of that to see what his new design is. They're handmade at this point. He said he's trying to get them built so that, you know, he doesn't have to hand make them every time. But yeah, that's what's coming, and I'm looking forward to seeing the better design. So I took it home, and this is the end product. So I push the leading edge is back right against the prop. Here, maybe in the light. And in the end here, it's nice. I put epoxy in there, a 2-part epoxy, and I put a straight edge on the bottom. And on the top, I used a rubber hose and another piece of wood, and I clamped with 4 clamps, steel clamps. I clamped against the rubber hose on the top and against a straight piece of wood on the bottom. And it nicely formed that leading edge right back onto the prop, and then obviously filled all the cracks with epoxy, and then I let it dry. So thing looks almost brand new, but obviously I run the risk of the weight being off, right? The balance. I added epoxy, now there's a few chips out of here, so who knows, maybe it evened itself out and it'll be fine. So I called Warp Drive, and they said either send the whole prop back, which like shipping and everything, I'm like, man, I don't know. Like, and then it's still the broken blade. So and then they try to fix it, and it's not even a guarantee that it's going to be fixed. Like, you know what I mean? So as soon as they make adjustments to one blade, then they have to make adjustments to all the blades to even out the balance. And that's why they want the hub. They want everything to go back to fix it. But you can get a new blade shipped to you because they have the numbers of these blades in their system, the weight and everything of them. So they can make the same blade to match the other two without having to send stuff back. Obviously I got to buy a new blade, which, yeah, again, it's not cheap. Obviously this was a mistake. But, you know, yeah. I'm learning as I go, so I ain't perfect by a long shot. So anyway, I think the better way to go is just to get them to send me a new blade, because they can just create one exactly like the others because they have all the numbers there. And they don't have to adjust. So we'll see what happens with this. I'm going to fly it, and we'll see if there's any vibration. I'll check the run out of the blade too, just to make sure nothing happened there. But yeah, that's that. So I guess you guys probably want to see some flying too, so the rest of this video will be some winter flying. I went out with a friend of mine last week. Man, guys, I gotta tell you, the 582, it pulls like you wouldn't believe. It's unbelievable. It, like, the power difference is like, there's no comparison. I climbed out with 2 guys, I climbed out with 2 guys faster. I had a higher climb rate with 2 guys than I would with 1 guy in a 503 on skis. Now, obviously, it's wintertime. We got great air, so that's gonna help. But I flew with the 503 in the wintertime too, and yeah, there's no comparison. And the cruise speed is higher. Yeah, it's just takeoff, roll is shorter, everything. It's just more power, so it's been really good. Really, really happy with it. Everything's running well. I'm definitely gonna put in the heater core. Like, I was gonna do the whole propane thing, but I kind of just gave up on that idea. I'm not even gonna try it. It is what it is. Like this plane's never gonna be a plane that I fly with 2 people on floats. It's that simple, unless I have my kids. They just do not have the capacity to do it. And I really don't know how the guys are doing it with the people that are doing it. Like, I'd really like to see their numbers. I'd like to see what their plane weighs empty, and I can almost guarantee you they're flying overweight. Yeah, that's an update. Now let's see some flying. Nice early morning. Well, flying with a friend of mine today. He's an airline captain. Actually, for medevac, flies Learjets. Just so out here nice and early. We're gonna watch the sun come up. Oh, she's a beautiful sight.